Hey, beautiful people. Don't want to start that video yet. I know, right, Aubrey? Part 3? Is he kidding me? He didn't tell us this. Let's get on over there. Countdown. It didn't mute. I was muting the wrong screen. Okay, he's got 730. Damn, it went up 100 before I could even read it. Y'all know that chat room is going to be off the charts. Let's show some love. I don't even know if he goes by his name. Let's just put it in there. XOXO. All right. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome. I want to let everybody that's here know we're going to roll with Chris through his whole thing. He's got one scheduled at 4, another at 4:45, and at 5:30, 6 o'clock, 6 o'clock for sure. I have a second stream that is going to take over, and it's going to be about little Mackenzie. It's a virtual vigil. So if you have a candle, if you have a lighter, any of that, we're going to light it up for Mackenzie. If you take a picture and email it to me, we'll add it to the family's collage. There will be some family in attendance, just showing their light. Tonight is just about lighting it up for Mackenzie. So I just want you all to know, if you can hang around for that, show some love and support for the family, and sign her petition. They do have a GoFundMe if you have a few bucks. But if not, just share the story. I'm going to mute out, and I will see y'all in the comments.
I kind of want to start from what you remember about that day, and I'll start first over here, Allison, because you, from my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, okay, you and Candace have been friends for about a year, year and a half, maybe?
About a year and a half.
Okay. And this is right after you relocated here from New York. Okay, so
no, it's been a few years after we've been here from New York for about 10 years now.
Okay. In that time, help me understand what the dynamics of that relationship between you guys.
Sherry.
My mother started the friendship. Okay. She had met Candace and the kids and her mom down here at the Santa train.
And you have a good Irish name.
Thank you.
I'm McDonough, so Clado ring.
They had met Candace down at the Santa train.
Okay.
And then she slowly introduced Candace to us and her mother.
Okay. So that your introduction to Candace was through your mom. So what was that? What was your first impression?
Someone that was looking for a friendship. Nice, you know.
Yep. A good person.
Yeah.
Just out looking for a friend.
Yep.
Okay. And over time, how did that friendship evolve?
We got close. She was like a sister to me. And those kids meant the world to me. Little Summer still does. Even the boys. It just kills me that she's gone. And, you know,
Candace was dirty, unwashed, and she did let her kids run all over and didn't make them mind.
So, and did that strike you?
Yes, and I did not like her.
Okay. And you're a great grandma, so you have that sense on whether you can tell, right? I mean, knowing, yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, when were the highs and when were the lows?
We did. She had went to Utah, well, Wisconsin, over the summertime. She came back just before school started for the kids. And we did family things with my kids and her kids.
Right.
And over time it's just started falling apart.
And how much time do you think it took?
A couple months for me to realize.
And what did you realize?
She was using me.
Okay, describe that for me.
Let's see, I put food in her house to feed her kids and her and her mom. I've had money come up missing, which I never told anyone.
Okay.
And it's pretty obvious where it went because there's only 3 adults in the house at the time. The rest were kids. Kids can't go down in the store because there's not one that's near. That's where to go.
And where did you think the money was going?
I don't know.
What's your gut?
Probably drugs.
Okay. What kind of drugs?
Well, she came out and told me she was a recovering meth addict.
Okay.
Huh?
You know, she doesn't strike me as having the characteristics of somebody who is obviously under the influence of meth all the time. Sorry? Booze. She drink a lot?
Oh yeah, every night at 5:30.
I'm not saying she didn't do meth. Don't misunderstand me, right? I mean, I don't know.
She never did it for me. She always smoked weed.
Okay. Yeah. Who
And,
doesn't smoke weed today, though, right?
Me.
Yeah, me neither. Yeah, oh, yeah. So we got 4 at the table here. Okay.
And
How can you believe it?
she drinks every night.
At least Leslie said
She
she's
drinks
on.
a nice sized bottle of R&R
Okay.
every night.
Okay.
I mean a nice sized jar.
How about a lot of times in this area, I know there's a big meth problem. What other kind of drugs are on the streets up here? How are pills doing up here?
Yeah.
And what kind of pills?
Oh no, I don't really hear about the pills. I hear about the meth.
Leslie?
Well, you hear pain pills,
Opioids? Like oxy?
and that pain patch. They said on the news the other day that it's running rapid here.
Fentanyl.
Yeah, the fentanyl patches.
Yeah. Well, here in West Virginia, right? I mean, West Virginia, there's a town, and they had like 22 people OD on fentanyl in a single day. Yeah, it was crazy. So, at some point, 3 or 4 months into it, correct me if I'm wrong, okay, your relationship kind of dissolved, but it maintained.
Longer than
It
that.
was longer than that.
It was the start of the second year.
Yeah. It was about the end of August, early September.
Okay.
And then I really cut ties at the end of September, early October.
In that time, how was she treating the children?
She'd smack them and beat them.
Describe that.
Well, let's see. One time her son wanted a drink. She said no. He threw a fit on the floor, so she went over and wailed his ass.
Is that normal? Would you describe that as a mom, from your mom's position? Would that be out of the norm, or even that raised your eyebrows?
It raised my eyebrows. Like, I don't beat my kids.
Okay. Did you say anything to her?
I said, what'd you hit him for?
But in between this, you should ask Leslie.
Because Leslie was there before all this.
So you've known Candace longer?
No.
Oh.
No, I met Candace on her birthday. See, me and her worked together.
Okay.
So I came over for her birthday party. And they had a swimming pool up out back. It's a little swimming pool. And her kids and Candace's kids was playing in the pool. And some of the kids had got out and was eating a snack while we was cooking hamburgers and stuff. And two of her boys was in the pool and they was horse playing. And this really, what she done really got to me.
Okay.
I mean, they're kids. They're going to play in the pool.
Right.
They're going to get rough. You know, they're boys.
Right.
And because they got rough, horse playing in the pool, she made them get out. And back here behind the house, there's a driveway. And she made the two boys get out of the pool, wet, and lay down, stomach down, on blacktop.
It was hot. Really hot.
That left an impression with you.
It left an impression so bad. I looked at her and Allison's mom, Sherry. I said, I do not like this straight up.
Mm-hmm.
And I told Allison, I said, this swimming pool is going down. I said, those kids did not deserve that.
Mm-hmm.
I walked out, picked a swimming pool up, and dumped it. Turned around and walked back in the house. I did not want to be around her the rest of the evening. I didn't, because if I would have been, honestly, I would have went to jail.
Right.
And you want to ask me how I felt about that? That is abuse. Those children could have got seriously burnt.
Right. No, I agree. I agree that if that ground is just unbelievably hot.
And with them being wet.
Right. Yeah, it's just like oil and water and grease. It just fries them up. How did she react?
She just laughed.
She doesn't care.
She doesn't care.
She doesn't care.
Her and her mom both just laughed.
Well, that certainly has left an impression on you, Leslie.
Yes, it does. I don't like her. I have nothing for her.
Right.
And I told that one right there when we was at work.
Right.
Every day she was off work, she was at Walmart spending money for them.
Okay.
Every day.
For the children. I know what you mean by for them, for the children, am I right? I mean, helping the kids move forward.
For me, those kids, all they would eat is dollar pizzas.
How do they have the cars that they drive? That kind of stuff.
The ones that are on the property, see, I only knew that, at first, when I first met them, I only knew that Candace had a green Suburban. Donnie had a black truck, which Candace had sold when she came back from her trip from Wisconsin. She sold her husband's truck because he took his white truck with him to Utah.
Okay.
And there's other trucks on the property too that were not sold yet. There was a blue one that used to sit as you came out her front door. It used to sit right there in the yard.
Okay.
Next to the tree where the swing was.
Okay.
That's been moved over by the mother's trailer.
Since the incident?
Get it right, the mother's camper.
Well, the mother's camper, I call it trailer. But from what I've seen in the pictures, it's been moved over by the camper.
No,
But it didn't have any wheels.
It didn't have no wheels, no insides. It didn't even have an engine.
So let's talk about the
The
day.
house was filthy.
Yes,
You tell her that. You tell her
The
that.
house was nasty.
I didn't go up there because I didn't like her.
just sit
I
right
always
there,
stay
so
here.
what you want.
What's your impression of Dawn?
Yeah,
He seemed like an outgoing guy at first. You know, he has his
I'm
problems.
positive.
Like we all do,
Yep.
right?
I
He
did not
loved
know him.
There you go.
He loved Summer to death.
Yeah.
That was his pride and joy.
Yeah.
That was his pride and joy.
Is he still around? There's a rumor that he's kind of evaporated. Is that true? If you know.
The last time I knew he was around.
Okay. And of course, you know how things are. You know, people don't know unless they're here, right?
But
He's been acting a little loony on Facebook lately.
Yeah. Oh, boy.
And on the his interviews on TV.
Right.
Like, first he started saying stuff about God and how he wanted the people that stole his daughter punished by cruel means. And then he went to saying something about Jezebel. And now everyone has to answer to the prophet. Like, weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he has really hurt his family.
By throwing me and my son under the bus? Oh.
Well, you know, people do different things. Penny, for your thoughts, Leslie. Where are you at?
Honestly, I think Candace done something to her. Because Candace was jealous of that little baby.
Why, though? Why would
Because that baby was getting Donnie's attention.
Oh, okay. So it's a pull between dad or the child.
See, in a little dark,
Is that right? Is that what you're saying?
and a little dark secret that no one knows. Candace's mom told me this one. When they found out that they were pregnant with Summer, Candace's mom was supposed to adopt Summer
Because she was a girl.
because she was a girl.
Oh, interesting.
They wanted she wanted boys. But Donnie,
Wanted a girl,
yeah,
and he got his girl. So let's.
Honestly, I don't feel that Donnie has anything to do with it. I may be wrong.
Was he at work that day? Do you know?
For
we
sure.
don't know for sure.
Okay.
When she would have Summer, even here, and if I was here, I would keep my distance. Because I didn't like the way she done her kids.
How
And
would
everybody's like, call DCS, call DCS. DCS has been called so many times on this woman, it's not even funny. So what the Facebook people don't realize, there has been people try to step in.
No.
She avoids them.
Sure.
Like
Sure.
the plague.
Okay. Okay.
She would see them pull in her driveway, she would lock the door and not let them in.
So they're.
I mean, what
And
are
then
we
they would make
supposed
appointments
to
with
Yeah,
them
right. I get it.
to come back and do their house check and, you know, the pee test, and they would avoid them.
So I have a question for you. That day, walk me through what you remember.
I remember her showing up that morning
And what time was that?
about 10, between 10 and 10:30.
All right.
She asked if Hunter could go fishing with her in summer because her mother was in the emergency room because of her knee.
Okay.
Because I guess a couple weeks back, they took her a trip to Gatlinburg and the boys were kicking the grandmother in the knee.
Oh my.
She
No.
didn't have the boys with them that day.
She didn't have any of the boys.
So it was just Summer and Candace
And then
and Grandma.
Yep.
Was Grandma in the truck as well, or in the vehicle?
Not when they first picked Hunter up, no.
Okay. So she comes
She was at
over.
the hospital.
Okay. So she comes over. What vehicle is she driving?
She was driving her mom's Silverado.
Okay, that's what I remember you saying. That's why I said truck. Okay, so she pulls up, and does she stop where? Right about,
Here.
right out front.
Between the pole and my mailbox
Okay,
to pick Hunter up.
all right.
Came in, she goes, "Can Hunter go fishing with me for a little while?" I said, "Sure."
Did she text you before?
No, she just
Showed up.
Yep.
How did that strike you?
She was always trying to show up and talk to me. She was the first. When me and her stopped talking, she was stopping by my mom's, talking to the kids, talking to my mom, unexpectedly, you know. And, you know, I didn't think anything of it at that time. I'm like, okay, yeah, Hunter can go fishing. He loves Summer to death. That's like his little sister.
They're buds.
Yep. She's like a daughter to me. I didn't hear from him for a while. She dropped Hunter off between 2 and 2:30, right where your truck is.
Okay.
But her front end telephone pole.
So she's going this direction?
Yes.
Okay.
When she dropped Hunter off, it was her mom, Hunter, and Summer. And Summer was leaning against 2 gallons of milk.
Okay.
I said, oh, look at her. You know, I asked her how Summer was, and she was sleeping.
What side of the back seat was she at? Do you remember?
Hunter was on the driver's side, and Summer was right there in the middle.
Okay, so it made sense if she's pulling this way that Hunter's going to get out
Yes.
on this side. Okay, it makes sense. Okay. And so she's on the other side or in the middle.
She's in the middle.
Okay.
Like,
Against the milk. Gallons of milk.
yep, against the 2 gallons of milk.
Okay.
And I said, oh, look at her. I said, isn't she hot? Like, I said, I wish I could wake her up and, you know, give her a hug. No, you can't.
When the windows were.
And the windows were up.
What did Hunter say? Because he was sitting next to her.
Hunter said she was alive.
Okay.
That they were watching TikTok videos.
Oh, interesting.
Wait a minute, when they went into the store, they
Yep,
were.
because Hunter has a timeline of where they went and what they did. And they had stopped at the store before they dropped Hunter off. That's where the 2 gallons of milk came from.
Okay.
And the groceries.
Okay.
And you know, I'm not trying to interrupt your timeline of that day, but I want to suggest they need to go to the Walmart on Fort Henry
Okay.
and have them look back at the cameras because
That was Westbound Drive. She can't go to Fort Henry.
she got escorted out for the way she was yelling at those kids. Don't you remember?
Oh, yeah.
That day?
No. Prior to that,
Okay.
she had gotten arrested, well, cited on Walmart on Fort Henry Drive property.
Okay.
Her and my mom went to Walmart, and they had the kids with them. And she wanted them to help her fix a cell phone that she had bought from there. They told her they couldn't do it. Well, I guess she got really mad and upset, and she said,
She went down the toilet.
well, first before she went down to well, she said something about blowing this place up.
Oh. Yeah.
So they got security.
Tactical error, right?
So they got security. Security called 911.
Sure.
They let her go their own way in the store. They found them in the toy aisle. Brought them up front to the security room. And she was arrested, but she wasn't put in handcuffs or taken them to central office for booking.
Because
She
of
was-
COVID.
Because of COVID. She
Got
was released on a ticket.
Got it. OR.
And
Own
she's banned.
reconnaissance.
I guess she's banned from that Walmart.
Okay. So let's go back to the trucks here. Summer's on the other side with the milk. Hunter gets out. You ask Hunter, or you talk to Candace about wanting to talk to Summer.
Yep.
What happens?
She said no. I wasn't allowed to wake her up.
Okay. So she's sleeping?
To me, she appeared sleeping.
Okay. Did it look like to you she was sleeping?
At the time, yes.
Okay.
But now that I look back on it, I really don't know.
Okay. Fair enough.
And it just kills me. Because, you know, now that I look back on it, it's like, was she really alive? Was she sleeping?
What's your gut as a mom? I mean, with Hunter coming in and saying, Mom, we were watching TikTok videos. I mean, for her to hurt her between the TikTok video stop and home here with Hunter in the car, that would have been kind of crazy, right?
Yeah, I believe she was alive here.
Okay. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, where would you put her being alive?
10
And where would Hunter put her?
out of 10.
Okay.
Because he sat here and he said where exactly what they were doing. She was giggling, watching TikToks and everything. And he said she fell asleep because she was tired. And that was right before they pulled up. So
And then what happened?
they left her around 2:30.
How long were they here?
About 5-10 minutes.
Did she get out of the truck?
Nope.
Stayed in the truck?
They had to go right away. They wouldn't.
They were parked out there for about 5 minutes because I was talking to them.
I know, but when you started to ask them, they.
Yeah, I said, well, you want to come up on the porch and,
Hang out.
yeah, like
And
talk.
thank you for the invitation, by the way, to come up on your porch. It's very kind.
Because I wanted to hear how the fishing trip went and everything. That's when I found out that they went swimming instead of fishing.
Okay. She told you they went swimming.
Yep.
And where'd she tell you they went?
Stable.
At the Warriors Path at the stables.
Okay. At the stables. You're in the back seat. Hunter gets out. He tells you what?
He really didn't say nothing.
He didn't really say nothing.
He went in the house.
Okay. Then what happened?
I asked him how fishing went. He goes, we went swimming. Oh, okay. I asked him how his day was. He goes, fine. He didn't tell me anything about what happened.
Nothing.
Nothing. And then his girlfriend's mom came and picked him up about 3 o'clock. And he went with them for a while. Me and Leslie went to the ball field. I left my phone in her car, in her van, because my phone was dead. So we only had hers. We were on the ball field, and we're actually on the opposite side of the ball field. We were watching her grandson practice, because he was playing for the Packers at that time. And her phone rang. It was Hunter. He wanted to speak to me. She gave me the phone. He goes, Mom, you gotta call Candace.
Where was Hunter at when he called you?
He was at his girlfriend's house.
At his girlfriend's house. That's with Leslie.
No.
No. Oh, I thought her name was Leslie too.
His girlfriend's name is,
That's okay. I don't need his girlfriend's name.
She's a minor.
Yeah, I don't need his girlfriend's name. Yeah, good
So he
call.
was with
Thank
them.
you.
And he goes, Candace just called me. Summer's missing. You need to call her. I said, boy, stop pulling my leg. I do not want to talk to her. So, me and Leslie were talking. I said, I don't believe it. I said, she's probably just pulling my leg trying to get me to talk to her. So, we continued watching the football practice. After practice, we went to the drive-thru at the cookout.
Now, were you guys together?
Yes.
Okay.
We went through the cookout drive-thru because we had ordered dinner. And we were waiting for our food. I turned my phone on, went on Facebook. There it is, plain as day. A picture of Summer missing that was posted by Hawkins County EMS. I said, Leslie, holy she is missing. So I called her mom, told my mom what was going on. She goes, you're joking. I said, no, I'm not. So then I said, okay. But Mama Bear and me kicked in. I called Candace. She didn't answer. We waited till we got here. I called again. She didn't answer. Hunter tried calling her. She didn't answer. My youngest tried calling her. She answered. Finally, she answered on my youngest's Snapchat. I said, what's wrong? She goes, Summer's gone. I said, how could she just be gone? I just seen you guys not that long ago. I said, what happened from the time you guys got home, from the time you guys left my house, until she went missing? She said, we came home, we planted flowers on the side of the house. We went in Mom's camper to wash our hands. Summer wanted a piece of candy. Grandma gave her a piece of candy. She wanted to go play with the boys inside the house. Candace told me. She walked Summer over to the house, let her go inside. She went back to the camper, fixed Mom's knee, which didn't even take 10 minutes. Then she went back to the house, asked the boys if they'd seen their sister. They said, no, maybe she's downstairs in the cellar playing. And I said, did you check the cellar? She goes, yeah. I checked it for about 20 minutes. I go, okay, was the door shut and locked? She goes, yes. So that's weird. Like, how does she just come up missing?
And during this conversation, didn't shed a tear. Nothing.
She was walking back and forth in her kitchen playing with her hat on her head.
How do you know that?
Because we were...
It was on video chat.
So you were on video chat during all of
Yes.
this? Okay.
All she was doing was talking and yawning.
And playing with her hat. She's like, well, I gotta go to bed soon because I have to get up in the morning because we all have to go down to the station to take a polygraph test.
Have the cops been there yet?
Yeah, she said her mom was outside talking to him, that she wasn't going to talk to him.
Is that what she said?
Yeah.
That she wasn't going to talk to the police,
Yep.
No.
but her daughter's missing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, then what happened?
And then we didn't hear from her the rest of that night. And then Wednesday.
And what time was this around? Do you remember?
About 11:30, 12 o'clock.
PM? So by this time, Summer potentially could have been missing between 6 and 7 p.m.
Hunter called my phone
Yes,
at the ball field at 7:29.
7:29. Hunter calls.
Yep.
Okay, so
Missing
She was
before
missing.
then.
and so Summer's missing obviously before that time of 7:29.
Who called Hunter?
Candace.
Candace
did.
did.
At 6:30?
I don't know what time she called him.
Yeah, right now that timeline's unknown.
I think it had to be right around after 7 because he would call his mother first and tell him he would.
Okay. Then what? Then what took place?
So Wednesday.
So you're watching her though at around midnight,
Yeah. There's no motion.
and she's playing with her
Yeah,
hat.
she's doing this with her hat.
Is she under the influence of anything at that point?
She seemed a little drunk to me.
Drunk?
And high.
Okay. Any other drugs on board, do you think?
Not that I know of.
Okay. From a nurse's perspective, Miss Leslie, what do you think that you've seen?
It wouldn't have put it past me if she hadn't have done a couple of pain pills.
Some pain pills?
Yeah, because I mean, her moods would go like this during the whole
Sure.
interview, during the whole time she was talking to her.
Sure.
And I mean, whenever it was just like she was up like this, and then you could watch her just, just down.
Yeah, highs and low. Right. Got it. Now, where are the boys during this chit chat?
Never heard him.
Never heard him.
Didn't hear them.
Never heard nobody.
Where's
but
Don
her.
during all this?
Never heard him.
You didn't hear him either.
Nope.
And you were watching the same video.
I was sitting right here.
Okay, so it was actually going on right here, meaning you were here when she called. Okay, and then what happened?
We said goodnight. And I told her I'd pray for her. That they find Summer. Next morning.
When you hung up, let me ask her first, because I'm going to get your answer here in a second. You're a mama bear, and a good one, okay? Grandma, you too. I'll ask your opinion. Women have an instinct. Okay? Men don't have it. Okay? Ask my wife. Okay? All right. What was your instinct that night?
I'll tell you why in a minute. Why my instinct was that way. It was my gut feeling.
Leslie, what was your opinion?
Said it from day one.
Miss Leslie, what have you said? Okay. That's a diplomatic way of saying.
Because it's like this, if that would have been one of my kids or my grandkids, the devil himself wouldn't be telling me, you need to get in your house. No. I'm going to go find my kid.
I know that about you. I can tell. So here's another question then. Is it possible that somebody could have snatched her?
Nope.
Not with 20 dogs on that property.
No.
Yeah.
There's 20 dollars.
Well, I've heard that number varies, right? I think there's a lot of dogs on the property, right? I mean,
There's about 20.
there's
Seriously, because she don't have her dogs fixed. And
there's 2 of them that keep getting pregnant. And then my daughters had one of her dogs, and that dog was just too wild for the city.
right.
So she took her back. She ended up pregnant, and
There was 3 of them that had puppies all at the same time.
So there's a lot of dogs on that property. Okay.
And those dogs protect that property.
Yeah, I bet. I
they
bet.
protect those
And it's
kids.
kind of isolated up that road, isn't it? When you pull up there in the past, what do the dogs do?
They come running right down to the end of the driveway.
So
And they surround you.
they come down the driveway.
Yeah. And if they don't know you, they show their teeth. They're ready to eat you. Because when they were going up to Wisconsin, me and her neighbors, we were taking turns feeding the dogs because I live down here in the city and the neighbor is closer. Every time my mom would pull up the driveway, even with her in the car, all the dogs would come running down and I'd have to say, eat, you know, because they want to eat.
Miss Leslie, what's your opinion?
They want to eat.
I ain't never been up there because I don't like her long enough to go up there to see her.
Okay, fair enough. Fair
She
enough.
asked me to take her and I said no. I'm not doing it.
I like Miss Leslie. She's
down.
a straight shooter, this one. I love
We were
it.
down the end of the driveway, and that was it.
Really? So, okay, so in your minds, there's something that has happened to her. That night, your opinion was, this doesn't look right. There's something wrong. Maybe she did something. Okay.
Or the boys might have done something, and they're covering it up.
Oh, maybe the
I
boys
mean-
accidentally hurt her. What's your gut on that?
Even though the boys didn't bring me
Grandma?
to her. There's just something in my gut that keeps telling me.
And what are the theories that you're operating on? What kind of thoughts do you have?
You know how like when she used to smack her and she just got really evil with her. Like one day she grabbed her by the arm and just gave her that hateful look. Like, and then it all doesn't make sense either. Candace has a sister that's been missing for about 10 years. One night, a couple nights when she was drunk, when it came around the anniversary for her sister's disappearance and her birthday, her mom was in tears all day long, all night long, and she kept looking at her mom. What's wrong? I said, you know what day it is? Oh. You ain't gonna find her alive. And I said, why wouldn't it? She goes, because the bitch is dead. I said, how do you know she's dead? And why would you call your sister a bitch? She goes, who says that?
That's a deep statement. That's a deep statement, don't you think? We don't want a lot of rumors around that one, but if she said it, she said it. And I don't have any reason not to believe anything you're laying out here for me personally. But at the same time, you know, who knows, right? I've seen crazier things in my time as well. So the next day then, did you call her back?
No, Wednesday, no.
Did she call you?
Nope.
When was the next time you had contact with her?
Thursday morning. Wednesday TBI, there was the thing on Facebook, the TikTok video
Okay,
of Hunter and Summer swimming at the swimming hole
okay.
that Candace had posted. And I was actually getting ready to go to work with Leslie because we had to be in at 2 that day, I think? 3. That's getting to be 2:30, 2 o'clock. I'm like, should I wait here and contact the TBI because everyone's wondering who this kid is in the video? And she goes, we didn't really know what to do at the time. And next thing you know, my phone rings. And it's Hawkins County Sheriff's Department. They go, we're on our way out. Can we talk to Hunter? I was like, yes. So Hawkins County Sheriff's Department came out. They're They came out, investigated him, talked to him. And Leslie had to go to work. I told her, tell our boss I'll be there in a little while. I'm running late, and tell him why. Well, about an hour and a half, 2 hours later, I'm getting ready to go to work like I was supposed to. And they call my phone again. We got more questions for Hunter. Okay. This time they came out with the TBI and the FBI. And they sat here and they nitpicked it.
Right here?
Yep. At the table.
Mm-hmm.
They got Hunter's statement.
What were they nitpicking him on?
They were going in depths about what their day was like,
Okay.
where they went and everything, what they do.
Okay.
So then,
Were you sitting here?
yep.
Okay. Okay. And then what happened?
I ended up taking the day off from work. Got pulled off my schedule at work.
That's kind of a crappy reason, huh? I mean, the fact that all this is going down and now he's in the middle of it, right? Yeah. No, I get it. I get it.
So then,
Where do you, then what happened? Go ahead.
so then Thursday morning, I'm in the bathroom. Candace shows up. Walks in the house, starts asking Hunter.
Out of the blue?
Yeah.
Okay.
I asked Hunter, did they come talk to you yet? It's okay. Because I sent them to your house. I gave them your phone number and your address. I said I'm going to talk to you because of the TikTok video and stuff. And she goes, what'd you tell them? By the time I could get out there to him to see what more they were telling him about, they had left. They had gotten back in their truck and left. I immediately called the detective. It's like, listen, Candace was here with her mom. They're just asking my son what he told you guys. And he goes, give me a second, I'll call you right back. He calls me back and he goes, what were they driving? I said they were driving her mom's Silverado. He goes, thank you for that information. Because she shouldn't have been here asking my son what he told you.
And what did Hunter say he said?
He goes, I just told him everything we did that day.
And what was her response?
Oh, okay.
What was she?
Tell him that, did you?
And then she said to him, you didn't tell him that, did you?
About what?
To this day, we really don't know.
I really don't know to this day, but
He said it was pertaining to do with the alcohol and the puff bars.
The alcohol and the what?
Or puff bars.
What's that?
It is a nicotine, basically electronic cigarette.
Oh, okay. Those vape cigarettes?
Yes.
Okay. Are they how are those packaged?
They come in a container with 3.
Are they what color are the packages?
they
Different kinds.
Do they come in? Do they look like cigar packages?
Yeah.
Or they come in blue ones?
Purple?
There's blue,
Blue,
there's purple, red, yellow, and orange.
Okay.
I think there's a green one.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, Hunter will know, right? Okay. Then what?
Then we didn't hear anything. Then one night he was at work because the poor boy tried to go back to work.
You're a good mom.
And
Should see mine.
he had gotten a phone call from her stating that she was in the back of a cop car.
Hunter got a call
Yeah, because she had to go back to the police station
that night.
and take a polygraph
This
test.
is Thursday.
Another one.
No.
This was
This would have been,
Saturday.
yeah, because we didn't hear from her for a while.
Okay.
And then, like I said, he was at work. And she had called him. Said she was in the back of a cop car. Heading to the police station. Because she had to take another polygraph test because she failed the first one. Then his girlfriend's mom picked him up from work. And she had called again. Said she was at the police station and she couldn't leave. So I called the detective when I found this out. I said, why does she keep calling my kid? Like, it was crazy.
Okay, so he's coming right back on in about now. I just wanted to pop in and, well, if I could put the chat up. I've been on my phone and working in the background, but I'm here. And I know Aubrey dead asleep. That got me as soon as I heard it too. It sure did. And thank you for giving Dale my email. Appreciate it. What am I missing? Let me see if I can catch up a little bit real quick. Shannon, we are not. Okay, girl, don't get me started. Shannon said real friends don't let friends dress like that. I agree. Not my friend. I know she probably is rethinking that right now. Oh, Aubrey, sorry, was that you? Leslie, Aubrey, everyone, all the mods. I was looking at it at first, but thank you. Both of y'all are everything. Who else we got in here? Carol Johnson, that was it for that one, but he's about to do a follow-up. I'm not sure exactly what he's going to do with it. And I don't think that's the end unless he tells us in this follow-up that that's the end. He's editing from 4 hours of footage. So he's got a lot of I think a lot more footage, especially the way it ended. So let's pop over and see. He should be on now. I'm going to mute out.
And so I wanted to show that piece tonight because a couple of things. Number one, I did that interview first before I interviewed Hunter. And the reason I did that was obvious, to level set. Level set kind of, an understanding of what they were going to say. And Hunter was not around for that interview. He kept coming and going, but you'll notice he wasn't sitting there at the table. So I want to thank everybody for, being here tonight and, having some conversation about, what the status is out here in Tennessee. I'm still here. I'm not leaving. I know there's some things going down tomorrow. There's a lot of rumors going around. I have not seen it at this end. Not saying it couldn't be true, but I'm not hearing the authorities talk about the children being taken from the house today. My understanding is, somebody had, a family member of some sort had put information out. I do not know if that is reliable information at this point, personally. So I am not going on that personally. I want to thank everybody, who has been sending emails and a variety of other communications. Some information that I will share with you. I did connect with Miss Candace today. There's always in these dynamic, fluid cases, you've got to, as an investigator, you've got to be right down the middle. And remember, we talked about what the variances are in relationship to these types of moving parts. Okay. And so you've got to weigh them all out. You've got to take a look at all the information. And then you have to kind of, sort through it. And this is why it's imperative that phone number down there is here so that credible information is given about finding where Summer could be. Now, when I talked to Candace a little bit, she told me that, number one, she doesn't want to sit down just yet, but she did say, from her opinion, what she heard, and she watched the interview with Hunter, that he had it all wrong and that the locations that he pointed out were in the wrong order, quote unquote. Okay. So that said, I don't want to put any more information out just yet about where she is, but both she and Dawn were together today. And so they're not in Wisconsin at her sister's house, as it's been rumored and reported all over the world. She is here in the Tennessee area. Okay. That said, I want to take a look at what and talk about what we just saw, get a lot of opinions. But remember, I like to operate not on speculation, not on rumor, but facts. And the reason facts is if we come up with something, okay, then that information immediately needs to go to that phone number right below me. Because we're talking about a 5-year-old little girl here. And every one of us knows that. That's why also in the chat over here, immediately, everything we say in that chat impacts Summer Wells. Okay. And the one thing you learn as an investigator is you don't get to choose your victims, and you do not get to choose their families or their friends. Okay. So as a result of that, okay, there are a lot of dynamics that, have to take place. And I hope, as we, continue to grow together and to help in these kind of situations, even from a distance, not necessarily in an investigative, format, but as a true crime community, I really believe, collectively, if we do it correctly, we can make a difference and solve some of these problems with, allow the police, to have additional information and or evidence, which has already been proven on a variety of other cases out there. So I want to thank everybody. There are new members and our current members. We are grateful. We appreciate you. I will tell you here in our channel, in my opinion, we have the best mods on YouTube, and that's Miss Sophia, Maui Girl, Mimi J2, Melissa Hart, and Four Sons Mom. We are just so grateful. And I want to thank Crystal G. She's just been going 150 miles an hour, but she's just going to be in the chat now watching us. So we thank you, all of our mods, and Miss Sophia for your leadership there. I also want to point out that I appreciate all your support. One thing about our channel is it is based on you just being here. Okay. We are grateful that you're here. If you just sub, that's enough. Okay. If I can get to your questions, I will answer your questions. Okay. I appreciate your kindness and thankful. Thank you, Jan. I appreciate your kindness, and at the same time, Karen and I are out here with Dylan, wanting to help find Summer and these other family members who need assistance, and that's what we're about. So, if you haven't subbed, please hit that button. Sub and hit that thumbs up, and ring that bell for more insight as we go along. Okay. So I want to reiterate, number one, we're not interfering with anybody's investigation out here. Any information that we receive and or is credible is immediately presented to law enforcement. All I am doing right now, as you can see, is interviewing and talking to some of the friends and neighbors. Okay? Whether they're truthful or not, I have my opinions. I also have my experience that tells me there are certain things you do not want to put out, certainly on social media, that could jeopardize and or impact an investigation. And that is why you heard some of the bleeping taking place. I also want to remind everybody that we're talking also about a 5-year-old little girl and a 15-year-old little boy who is still, he's ADHD, and, I think his heart's in the right place. Whether or not his story lines up at this point, again, I'm still in the 80-20 at that side of the house, and we'll see, where that's going to unfold and how it's going to unfold. Okay, I'm sure the authorities are very much on top of it. There's a huge search coming tomorrow by our folks from the equestrian groups coming out, and I'm hoping that there will be some information coming out on that. One thought that I had, if it had been true, or if it is true, which is unconfirmed from my position anyway tonight, is if the children were taken today, then that is a strategic investigative move. And what do I mean by that? It means they're sitting with forensic interviewers. And the search is not by coincidence tomorrow, if in fact that potentially could have occurred, because that information will be relayed. Okay. So that said, this is why it's all back and report, okay, on what they may or may not have found. So we don't know what happened, whose line, but Chris will sort it out if possible. Thank you, Half-Roder. Yeah, there's a lot of moving parts here. So let's go over what we just heard. Okay. Well, first of all, one of the things that Candace told me today was that Hunter had the order all wrong. Okay. Now it was to that point, she didn't say it was wrong. She just said the order was wrong of what he said, not that what he said was incorrect. So that's something to consider. Okay. And I'm hoping again to have a much deeper conversation with her. So what we know about Hunter's statement is Candace picks him up with Summer at his house. They go to the Holston Valley Medical Center to pick up their Candace's grandmother. They stop at Walgreens to drop off the prescription. They go to a discount tobacco store to buy cigarettes. Now, Allie said it was a store called Catch 22. Hunter said it was the discount tobacco store. So that's a discrepancy. Okay. What's not a discrepancy is the items that were purchased, those vape cigarettes and the twisted tea. Both of those stores sell both of those items. Okay. They go to the horse stable or the swimming hole at Warriors Path. Candace and Hunter vape, and he asked for the twisted tea. She gives it to him, and they hang out there at the water hole. Okay. I feel a lot of compassion for Candace and her family. I hope she talks to you. Great job. Thank you so much. Thank you very, very much. Dreamify. They hang out. Hunter says he's drinking that tea. It's I've heard different things about the size of it. My understanding, it can come in like a 20 ounce with about 5% alcohol. So depending on the tolerance of this young man, he could have, some alcohol on board here. And then while he's doing that, he is monitoring, as you remember in that video, in his statement, he's monitoring Summer while Mom and Candace are looking at TikTok videos and also talking about the flowers in that area there. Okay. There's a discrepancy in relationship to the time frame of how much time if Summer went under the water. And it varies anywhere from 5 to 20 seconds to I'm not really sure. So we have 3 problems there, and any one of those 3 could or could not be accurate. Okay. And Miss Christine Gonzalez, thank you. Your boys have ADHD. Their minds run a mile a minute. It's extremely hard for them to retell details months later without a bit of errors. Okay, thank you. And I have to be honest with you. When I was sitting across from Hunter, I did not get the vibe that he wanted to intentionally, take me down another road, because I told him straight up, I said, look, son, and by the way, he had already been interviewed 3 separate times, as you remember, by FBI, TBI, and the Sheriff's Department. And it was a female FBI agent that they sent in to sit down with him. Okay? And they did it at that table, according to the family, and locked him into a story. Okay, locking him into a story. Thank you. We miss you. Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Hey, that said, now, whether she goes under the water or not, folks, I think we can all agree it's still a mystery on that side of the puzzle. Okay? However, from there, they leave the swimming area and go to the hippie house, or it's a CBD store. I confirmed that they were in that, i.e. Candace was in that CBD store. Okay. And I mentioned that on the other video if you need to go rewatch that. They then go to Walgreens where they pick up the prescription for grandma through the drive-thru. And this is when the call comes in, allegedly, from Don, that there's somebody hanging out around the property and that he is suspicious and wants to, in his opinion, he's touching kids is what was reported. Okay, that's what was reported. Allegedly, to Candace on the phone when Summer said, when Hunter said, can I hear that? Okay, what did he say, basically? So, I'm going to put that in the I don't know column. Okay, I'm not completely vibing on that personally yet. Okay, so they get the prescription, and from there, this is when they go to Sonic for the slushies. Hunter and Summer both have blueberry flavor. Okay. Thank you so much, Deborah. Appreciate that. And as a result of that, okay, there's some questions of whether or not, there would have been discoloration around her mouth, etc. Okay, we don't know. Then they go to the Price Less Foods. Okay. There are 3 of those in the area. The one that Hunter mentioned was the closest to his house, and in between, one near the Virginia border and one near downtown Kingsport. Hunter said it was the one that we have on the video. Candace has not mentioned that it was out of order. She did mention today that she was with her husband, Don, and that they were working. Okay. And he's a drywaller and taper, and she was assisting him today, and that she's going to church tomorrow. Okay. So from there, they go home, and this is where the picture of the milk and Summer comes up. And now we get into today's conversation with Allie. I wanted to dive a little bit deeper into that relationship because, there has to be, a question in relationship to who's not telling it the way it went down, right? And then the question has to be, all right, why are they not telling it the way it went down? And how do you sort through, right, all of these miscues in relationship to, the vengeance? Are there problems, in relationships? So this is all part of the victimology about Summer. Meaning, what we want to do is discover what are all of the dynamics around her? Now, there's a lot of allegations about, abuse with against Candace and the boys. Allie, Leslie comes right out and says, look, and by the way, this is off camera, by the way. She says, look, CPS has been involved with this family for a very long time. We have all called and tried to intervene, okay, number one. And she did say that from the position of being a nurse, okay? So I'm not going to question what her motives are at that point, okay? Does she not like her? I think that's clear, okay? And so there could be some real problems there in relationship to that relationship. I think we would all agree there's a lot of dysfunctionality going on here, okay? And, when you have that happening, then you have to take this type of case very slowly because you have to approach it with an attitude of, okay, what is real and what is made up in terms of because of different motives. And that ties us into this statement today. So they've had a relationship for quite some time, and it kind of came to a head where they had a falling out. I've heard different things. It was a guy. It was the witnessing of inappropriate behavior in terms of treatment. But I think at some point early on, they had a pretty good relationship. And when I was talking to Allie and Leslie, now Leslie is just a straight shooter, if you can't tell. I really enjoyed talking to her. I mean, she just came right at you. And sometimes that's the way it is, right? And what we don't know is if it is around abuse, is what CPS did or didn't do. So I'm never going to throw the CPS under the bus at this juncture because we don't know what they're doing. And as a result of that, there could be a paper trail of all the things they have done. And that will also assist in the investigation. And if they do, and if they have taken the children today, then we'll know that tomorrow for sure. We'll know that for tomorrow for sure. So they were close, and Allie, was tearing up because you could see, and I was sitting right across from her, that she was struggling. She was struggling in two different directions. She was struggling because, she is worried that, in her words, Candace hurt Summer. Not my words. Those are her words. She's also worried that, she stuck herself out there. And this is, causing her a lot of strife and a lot of pain. And this dynamic of social media, it's tough. It's tough for these families, for Candace, for Dawn, for Allie, for Leslie, for her mom, and many others that are suffering. We don't know what the facts are yet. We certainly have a lot of theories, but we don't have all of the facts yet. Okay? And as a result of that, we cannot jump to, there, as Coop says, the type of hammer you pick, you've got to make sure it's correct for the nail. Okay? So now, whether or not there's accuracy in this, and I believe in some parts there is, and I also believe there are some mistruths, okay, from both sides of the coin, because I did speak with Candace today, and I promised her that I wouldn't play or trick her. Okay? I'm not like that. And this channel, we're not going to do that. Okay? Because she could be a grieving mother, or she could be a suspect. But I don't know, and I'm not going to come out and say, yeah, she did A, B, C, or D. I'm not going to do that yet. Okay? Personally, I'm hoping that we can sit down again and just get her side of the coin. And so Summer is described as Dawn's pride and joy. And there was something that was really interesting that they allege in this interview, is that Candace was jealous of the baby against Dawn. I don't know if that's true. I'll ask her. And so could that be something that moves us into a different direction? I don't know. If you look at a lot of the pictures, that were posted by Mom early on, okay, even before Summer went missing, okay, there seems to be, some dysfunctionality going there. There's no question about that. There could be alcohol and other problems on board. Okay? There could even be some over-punishment and abuse of sort, maybe neglect or something to that effect. Okay, all of those could be definitely contributing factors to the totality of the circumstance. Okay? But I've also seen where parents hurt their children in fits of anger and then panic. And we don't know if this is the case. Could there have been a disconnect between mom and child? Because Dawn was, the center of attention in her eyes, but Summer was the center of attention in his eyes. So we'll just have to wait to see, okay, on that as things start to unfold. The children, according to Allie and Leslie and her grandma, were basically craving for attention constantly. And that they would eat the same pizza and the same type of foods, okay? And as a result of that, then she felt that she would help buy groceries for them because she had a full-time job and does still at the local Walmart. And so the question then comes, what is she saying in relationship to Candace during all of this time? Is she being a friend? Is she, looking out for the children? She says, and I interpreted it as she was buying the food so that the children have, something to eat. Now, I don't know where that goes at this point. I know I'm really interested in seeing the dynamics and the geographic layout up there firsthand, and I'm hoping I get an opportunity to do that. So Summer is described as Dawn's pride and joy. And according to Allie, Candace was jealous of that. Okay? So that's on the table. Candy tells Allie when Candace found out she was pregnant, meaning Candace's mother tells Allie, allegedly, this is what she told me, that when she was pregnant with Summer, Grandma was supposed to adopt her because, quote, she was a girl. Okay? And Candace wanted another boy. So, again, that's along that theme. Then there is an incident at Walmart where there's a phone incident, and all of this was before Summer went missing, for the record. Why, the only reason I included it in this interview was, again, this is pre-incident behavior and pre-incident what we call indicators. And there could be what we call leakage, meaning you see certain behaviors long before the ultimate problem, i.e. somebody either hurt or something to that effect. Okay? And so I wanted to kind of get a baseline of what was going on pre-incident, and you heard one of the things that they reported was that Candace had wanted more minutes or their phone fix at a Walmart. She wanted her phone fix at a Walmart, and apparently they got into it at the Walmart, and she said something, off the wall that caused the police to show up. They wrote her an OR, own reconnaissance, meaning they cited her and cut her loose with a promise to appear in court. Okay. I don't know what the facts are on that. I'm sure those public records are available, and people can go take a look at it, okay, if it occurred. But I don't have any reason not to believe what they were telling me that it didn't. I mean, it was one of those just, off the wall type of events that you just kind of say, well, yeah, I mean, that one probably happened. So we'll see where that goes. Now, Allie believed Summer was alive in the backseat when she last saw her on July 15th. Okay. So, in her opinion, when she looked at Summer, thank you. In her opinion, Summer was alive when she first saw her. This is what she first said. But you'll notice in the interview, she thought about it. And she kind of, wobbled a little. But what was interesting is when you watch it again, she became emotional. And she says, I think it's something to the effect of, in retrospect, I don't know. Now, that is a very interesting statement. That is a very interesting statement. It could be indicative of maybe she does know, and she doesn't want to say it. So there is a piece of this that I think if we, again, remain objective right now and let the chips fall where they fall, okay, then I think we're going to see the truth. What always happens, and by the way, this is really an important piece to understand about investigators, and especially, these types of high-profile crimes like this. Okay, you let them lie, okay, all day long. Just let them lie, okay? Because later on, you go back and after you've done your investigation, and I'll just use Barry Morphew as an example. Okay? Barry, went out there and said, some things that everybody looked at it and said, well, that doesn't look right. And lo and behold, he's sitting in the clink. They locked him up, first-degree murder. So those are tactical moves by investigators to let them just say what they want to say. Because at some point, that's not the place sitting at somebody's porch in Tennessee to say, I think you're lying. Okay? That's not the place you do that. You do that in the interview room, at the PD, when they're in custody, and or you're interviewing them in a much more controlled environment. Okay, so do I think everything came out there, i.e., Was it 100% accurate? No. Do I believe some of the things she's telling me? Absolutely. Okay. Absolutely. And I also believed Candace when I spoke to her today on the phone, by the way, where she said, you know, and by the way, this is one of these things where, you know, you can't really control it. It just happens. It was spontaneous. She goes, well, I watched the interview and that boy has all of the locations wrong in order. I mean, they're not in order. She didn't say she didn't go there. Hey, she just said he's got the wrong order, i.e. she's driving and he didn't get it right. So I'm hoping to get it in the correct order. And that's what I'm saying. All of this needs to, you know, we need to take our time for this little girl and make sure that we're lining up correctly with the investigation in terms of we're not interfering by hearsay and, you know, mush and all this other stuff that, you know, the sheriff's talking about, and, you know, in terms of what we could bring a positive from social media into this. And quite frankly, you guys are the best out there in terms of, you know, in my opinion, being here, and you're very respective and respectful. Okay, calling people names and all this other stuff doesn't solve crimes, okay? or missing children. Okay? It doesn't do that. Okay? So then we have Allie believes Summer was alive in the back seat when she last saw her on June 15th. And then Candace tells Allie after Summer went missing, the cops came to their house. And Candace came over Candace came over to their house when the PD was after the PD had been there. And they talked outside, and she related, okay, that, let me back up. I just made a mistake. Candace tells Allie around 11 or 12 that Summer's missing. At first, the call comes in to Hunter, okay, from Candace, who tells Allie, and she doesn't believe it at first. And then she sees the Facebook post of Summer missing and kind of has an aha moment. But later on that evening, Allie reports that Candace FaceTimes her, and Leslie is sitting right there, and that she seemed under the influence, according to what she said, Allie said, and that the PD TBI was there, and that her mother, Candace's mother, was outside talking to them. And according to Allie, Candace did not want to speak to them because she was tired and she had to go to the PD the next morning for a polygraph. Now, I don't know if that's the sequence. I can tell you this, that the electronic information recovered or going to be recovered will put that piece of the puzzle together pretty accurately. Okay, so I don't think that's going to be an issue. Okay. What was an issue is if that was the case, okay, then I'm sure if TBI was there, they had somebody in the house with mom. As the one thing you do with a missing child is you put an investigator next to the parent. There's two reasons for that. The first is so you don't lose the parent. You know, they start running out into the woods, and as a result of that, you find the child. Now you can't find the parent. Okay? So that's the first thing. The second reason is for spontaneous statements, i.e., what's the suspect going to say, i.e. Christopher Watts, okay, with the body camera. That guy just kind of, shook his head and, was like, yeah, show me around. And he let him do his own thing. Okay? So I can assure you that these investigators were probably standing there when that phone call went down. Or at least they were within earshot of it. Okay? At least earshot. Okay? Now, if she was under the influence, I said on one of the very first videos that I did on this, on the report of, the interview with the news, I think she has, obviously an addiction problem. I'm still going to put a bingo card on pain pills, opioids, and chasing it with alcohol. I don't know if, she doesn't strike me, at least at this juncture, of being a meth head. Now, could she have? Sure. But typically that drug, as we all know, is just so hard on the body. You would see, a lot more indicators of, more stuff on board, i.e., there's what they call, cocoa bugs, where they scratch, they're like this, and they're cutting their lawn at 3 o'clock in the morning. They take bicycles apart like they've never been seen, okay? As well as toasters. For some reason, they just take everything apart, and you've seen the pictures, right, before and after the booking photos, but out on the street, they're just going 150 miles an hour, and their teeth start to rot pretty rapidly. You can see all kinds of other problems in their skin presentation. I don't see that in Candace currently, but I haven't seen her in person. Okay? I've only talked to her on the phone. Okay? But she doesn't strike me as that type of personality. I think she would lean more towards the alcohol, opioids problem, okay? Pain pills, that kind of stuff. That area too, by the way, and I mentioned it, Huntington, West Virginia, I think it was like 2016. They had like 24, 22 ODs within a 4 or 5 hour period. Imagine going. The lieutenant up there is a friend of mine. His name is Larry Zimmerman. And I went to dinner with him one night, and he told me the whole story. And he said within 4 hours, they had 20 to 26 people that just dropped on the street. And it was from the same dope dealer that put bad fentanyl out on the street. Was stress here this weekend, is it possible cell phone data came back and they're pinpointing search? You know what, Leanne McKenzie, that is a great question. And yes, it is possible. And that is another reason why we want to just stay away from them. And we're just going to let them do their thing. Okay. Okay, so now let me pick this back up here. She believes Summer is alive. Candace calls. 2 days later, Candace comes back and shows up at her house again. Okay. And she asked Hunter what he told TBI. Now, this is, you didn't tell them, she says, you didn't tell them about the alcohol, did you? So this could be just an innocent cover play, or they could have had a deeper conversation and we don't know about it yet. Okay. I think it's let me say this. I want to be diplomatic. I think it's interesting that even occurred when your daughter's missing and all you're playing here is the alcohol, the tea. Okay. That's usually, second place, right? You would think. So I don't know. We're going to put that on the DLR column. Then she later, according to Allie, calls him while seated in the back seat of a police car, saying she's going to the PD to take a second polygraph test. And according to Allie, she may not have passed the first one. I don't know what the answer is to that. I know there are two types of tests. One is a full-blown polygraph, which takes about 3 to 4 hours to line up. Okay. The second is what they call a CVSA. It's a computer voice stress analysis. And it's a little microphone that goes right here, and it measures the microtremors in the larynx. So when you ask a series of questions of yes and no, and you prepare those questions like a polygraph with the suspect or the subject, okay, they actually prepare the questions you're going to ask. And so when you ask that question, if you get a variance in that response, it can either be deceptive or truthful. And you put a plus or a minus. You see a plus or a minus behind that question. You see the machine do this. It either goes up as a Christmas tree or it comes across as a block. And that's called a CVSA. Now, why is that important to know? Because sometimes you'll get a suspect who says, well, hey, I'm telling you the truth, okay? I'll take a polygraph. And they know in their minds, okay, I got 3 to 4 hours to make up my story. Okay? However, as a result of that, if you have a CVSA examiner on your department, okay, then you can say, okay, and literally you walk out of the room, okay, and while all this tension is still there and anticipation from the subject, you go get the box. We used to call it the box. And the CVSA examiner would walk in and you open up the box and they clip a microphone right here. It takes about 10 minutes, long enough to turn on the computer. Okay. So if this was a CVSA, she could have bombed it rapidly. Okay. So I'm not going to, I don't know if it's a poly or a CVSA yet. If it's a CVSA, then that would make more sense to come back because we have more questions. And then they could change it up and put her on a full-blown polygraph with, by this time, maybe the feds are involved and you get an FBI polygrapher. And those guys are just awesome. Now, mind you, this is just a tool. Okay? It is just a tool. It's not admissible in court. So even if she didn't pass, or the parents, Don didn't pass, hypothetically, and typically you'd want to do that in a missing child case because you want to stay in that circle and then you want to eliminate the circle and work your way out, okay? Especially a low-risk victim. Remember, we talked about that. Okay? But hypothetically, if in fact, they did bomb, then you would call, a second situation to come in. That's happened many, many times. Okay? And that was one of the things in Barry Morphews with Andy when TV or CBI, Colorado Bureau of Investigation, told Andy, he said, look, he said he never took a test. He failed a CVSA. And the moment Andy told me that a while ago, I knew that came from a cop. Let's see here. I got to get to some. Have they been able to ping cell phones? I'm sure of it, but I do not, like anybody else, have the result to that. Susan Simons, thank you for all your whole work. Thank you so much. You're very kind. Half Rudder, I think it's awful little girl is missing and all the adults are lying and serving up vendettas. Yeah, interesting. Thank you. Navy vet, thank you for your service. Grateful for that. Would being under the influence of an opioid or other drugs or alcohol have an effect on the polygraph results? Yes, absolutely they would. In fact, you would also, that could be another reason. You would want to wait until that individual was sober. Okay? In fact, that's one of the rules. You don't want to do that. Let's see here. Let me keep over here, get to some of these. I'm sorry I missed them going by. Lisa Stewart, thank you so much. Haley Neville Ether's mom, 80, new member, thank you so much. We're grateful for you. Jean Davis, we all in the collecting Let's Bring Summer Home soon. Thank you so much for your kind donation as well. Jan on the Lamb, I'm so thankful you're out there. Therefore, I have hope. Well, thank you so much for your kindness. You're very sweet. Appreciate that. All right. So now the last piece of this, she calls Hunter and says, I'm in the cop car going back. Well, what's interesting about that is who's taking her. It's the cops. Okay? So for a 15-year-old, just to arbitrarily pull that out of the air, okay, would not make sense. In fact, that's typically how you want to do it. If you can have them come and you can control the ride, then what you do is you send a patrol car up and say, or you tell the subject, hey, I'm going to have a car come pick you up. And they're like, yeah, okay, sure. And that's a good thing. I'm pretty sure Candace is on Suboxone. This is a prescribed med for addicts, and as long as she has prescription, it can't be used against her. Okay, there you go. Thank you. What kind of addiction is it prescribed for, Veronica Markle 1? What kind of addiction is that drug prescribed for? If you guys can answer that, put that in the chat over here, please. And thank you for that. So now Allie said she thinks Candace is responsible for Summer's disappearance. Okay. You know, it certainly doesn't look right, but we don't know yet. I'm still having a hard time personally with just a stranger abduction, but I'm not having a hard time that it could be somebody that knows and or is connected to the family or is within the realm of, okay, I see heroin, meth. So it's like a juice program, like the methadone program, right? What's the plasma life on that? Like 24 hours like methadone? Opioids, addictions, heroin. Okay, thank you. I did not know that. I appreciate that. But I'm still not convinced that this is just a total random stranger. Now, I'm more leaning towards, if that is the scenario here, then it is somebody who is familiar with two things. One, that geographic region, and two, has had contact with that family. I don't know if it's narcotics activities. I don't know if it's, people selling people. I've heard everything. I think we've all heard it on the internet, right? But we don't know that yet. Could that be possibilities? Of course. Keep them on the wall. But that's speculation right now. We don't know what the truth is. So let's seek the truth. Okay? And as we continue to do that, then the credibility of what we do in true crime out here gets better and better. And if they do find Summer, and God forbid, she was, sold or whatever, okay, if they recover her, okay, we certainly don't want her in 10, 15 years from now rewatching what everybody was saying about her and her family, like Elizabeth Smart, if that was a possibility. What we want her to see is what we're doing here tonight and others, many other classy, YouTube channels. So that is also something to always keep in mind. Remember, we're in the 21st century and this stuff will be here forever. So do I think they're lying is a question. Everybody lies. Of course. What's your gut opinion of after interviewing everyone so far. Jack, thank you. Great question. My gut tells me I need more data. I'm 80-20 on both. The 20% being untruthful. Maybe, maybe I kick that up to 30. I'm 70-30 after some of the interviews. Okay? But I have to hear from Miss Candace for me to completely weigh in, and probably Dawn. And whether or not I get that opportunity while I'm here, I certainly hope I do. But I have to hear them, see them, feel them in terms of, being across from them. And I'll get a better idea. Do I think there was some body language that indicated deception? Yeah, absolutely. Okay, from some of the interviews I've done. Do I think Miss Leslie is a straight shooter? No question about it. I don't think she was deceptive at all. Okay, I think in fact she was just firing away, and usually that's what you get with that type of personality. They just let you have it. Okay, Susu Spirits goes from who? I'm going to leave that as I can't answer that question yet because I don't want to jeopardize, any of the relationships just yet. Okay, so I know we're hanging on a thread, but one of the things that was interesting, and I think we heard it. Okay, there was some very strong language about, Candace's sister Rose, and also what they felt about Summer. And some of those things is what I cut out because, there were a couple of things in the last interview where some names were given where, they're connected to the potential drug world. And that may compromise the investigation. And so there's no way I was going to make that happen because I know the investigators have it. I know they do. I'm sure of it. As an ex-addict and addiction leader for 13 years, thank you, Truth Seeker. God bless you. I believe this case is due to addiction and neglect. I do not believe in abduction. Poor sweet Summer. Thank you. And I'm sure the last 13 years have been a joyous time for you. Good for you. God bless you. Way to go. So, do I think Hunter is safe? Sue, is a question. Great question. I think Hunter is 15 who plays that he's street smart. Okay? But he could be extending himself here. Yeah, but I think he's also smart enough to know that he hasn't. I don't know if he has. I'm trying to think of the best way to put this. I don't know if he intentionally wants to throw a bunch of deception up there. Now, I think the fact that Candace said, he's got the order wrong, and not that he was wrong, is telling. So we're going to see how that unfolds, and see what goes from there. So that's kind of where we're at. If you just kind of, if you have any more questions in there, I've got a lot more coming. I'm here on the ground. We're going to wait to see how the search goes tomorrow. I will not be, diving off where they're going to be. So don't ask me. Oh, take more questions. Okay, I'll take more questions. Karen, just chat at me or just send me a text. Says, Chris, take more questions. Okay. All right. What's your questions, everybody? Let's see. What do you got? Let's hear. That's why I love this girl. One of the many reasons. She's smarter than me. She's the brains of the operation. You're very kind. I see a lot of comments, but I'm not seeing a lot of questions. Oh, how long am I staying? All right, I see that one. Here's Kat. There's one too. Are you aware Candace and her second oldest kids taken from her place, okay, due to the meth? That's a fact. Her missing sister had them for a bit. Okay. Yeah. And that's why I said I wasn't saying she wasn't a meth head in the past, but just like this young lady that, has been clean for 13 years, she's not a meth head now. I see other forms of potential addiction problems going on, but thank you, Kat. That is a great point. And yes, that's why pre-incident behavior could be indicative of future behavior. And this is one of the reasons why we wanted to sit with that. Yeah, she seems infatuated with Hunter. Yeah, could be. And that's why I asked Hunter in that interview, is she into you? Go watch that interview again and listen how he responds. Thank you. Why was Hunter yawning so much? I think that is a tick to his ADHD, from what I saw. And by the way, when Allie was yawning, she wasn't really yawning. She was having difficulty breathing. And I think, that, was what was going on there. Let's see here. Yeah. All right. Now we've got 1,000 questions coming in. I can't keep up with them all. So let's hear. Thank you. Oh, okay. Did you notice that Hunter talked about Don's phone to Candace, that he said Don always calls to check on Candace? Yeah, I did notice that. A great observation, Carrie. And I think this goes towards, why in the world would she, even though the kid says, hey, let me have the alcohol, why would you do that, right? Why would you do that? Women of Steel, yes. We talked today. She asked, did I reach out to her? The answer is yes. We spoke briefly this morning. So she's going to church tomorrow, and I'm not the kind of guy that ambushes it. We'll just let it take its course. That's how you solve crimes. Just let it happen. Thank you. I saw somebody else here that says, I'm 7 years clearing. Good for you. God bless you. Do I think they have enough evidence to charge someone without finding Summer? Elizabeth, that is an outstanding question. I think it's going to be a little bit longer. Typically, it takes, 60, 90 days, maybe, if not longer, for various types of evidence to come back. So we have to wait. Patience. Let's see here. No news is good news. That's correct. Crime Ghost, way to go. I believe you. I believe in that 100% myself. Let's see here. Hi from Asheville. Do you find it odd that Candace kept calling Hunter after the fact? Absolutely. That's a red flag. Let's see all our red flags in here. Come up here. Could that be an indication that she's toast? Yeah, throw the toast up. Okay, absolutely. But we don't know just yet. But those definitely could be could be problematic. Let's see here. Althea Tingy. What about Grandma Candy? She knows and could likely say, why not more focus on her? But what's your opinion? Yeah, so here's my opinion. I'm keeping Grandma on the plate. That's my opinion. And I'm not taking them off. Not yet. I've got 4 people, maybe 5. This stranger problem, some dude, Sod, some other dude hanging out at the property potential, and of course, the 2 parents, and then the boy, that could be a problem. I'm not saying he's in the circle. I'm saying he's on the plate. That's different. And I've talked to him now, so I've kind of moved him over here personally. But I don't have all the information, so I'm not going to judge it at this point. So yeah, she's still under the she's in the radar. Okay, she's in the radio. And by the way, so I'm going to call this one in terms of like I did for Barry and some other guy in San Diego. You guys know who I'm talking about. Okay. Which, by the way, I'm having Mary, Chris, and Richard Sunday night. They're coming on with me. We're going to talk about some of the latest updates with the gun violence restraining order. And the PD has officially come out and said, well, Larry's a person of interest. Okay. So there you go. We'll see what happens. But I'm going to call this one for a bingo card of 100 right now. And if you're new to my channel, if you're new to our channel here, all of our members and friends know, hey, when I put a bingo card out, I'm batting 1,000 right now since I've been on YouTube. By the way, not that I've been keeping track, but I have. Okay, so I'm putting a bingo card of 100 that in that geographic region. Okay, I have not left that property yet. I've not left that property. Now, the only variance to that would be this mystery person, if they exist. And then that person will be familiar with that geographic property. Okay? So that's my bingo card. What do you think the chances are of someone breaking custody before Summer's found? I think in this kind of case, it's a high probability. It's a high probability. But it all depends on how streetwise somebody is as well, right? Okay, thank you. I saw another question up here. Navy vet, you're back. ADHD is treated with a medication that would normally make someone else feel that they're speeding, but it slows the ADH down. So it's a synergistic effect, right? Goes up and turns it back around. If you give them something to calm, it works opposite. Yes, absolutely. And this is why he was kind of, just kind of rolling with it, right? So I wanted to be considerate of potentially some of those problems. And Dre Latina, will you be taking Karen out for a date night soon? Thank you. Is this dinner then? Is that what? You're the best. We love Dre. She's awesome. So funny. Okay. Oops, I got another one just came up. Let's see here. Why were they yawning so much during your interview? I think some of that is quite frankly, it was a nervous tick. But it could also have been, as I was getting closer to what I used to call in the vein, okay, you would see, suspects or subjects, bad choice of words, kind of, bump in and, ticks would all kick in, and it could be a sign that, hey, how am I going to cover this? And it gives them time to think, right? Baked cake, love your name. It's awesome. Grandma Shay, I don't know, I'll be bloody screaming wreck, begging the public for any scrap of information if it was Summer's grandma. I know, right? Love that name, though. Baked cake. That's hysterical. Let's see her. Jean, she feels that there's nasty comments, unclassic comments. Come on, people, do better. Yeah. There you go. Thank you. Well, I don't know what's being said because I can't keep up with it, but I appreciate that. Well, I try to hope. I ask people to be considerate of themselves and others because, the more people put in my chats, the more I'm learning about them. Okay, and I have a philosophy that I don't go into your house, okay, and go ballistic. So if you come into mine, I'll just kick you out. At some point, I'll just boot you. You won't know it till you go try to get back in. So I ask people to be respectful of each other. Okay? Not only, what's going on here, but just treat each other with kindness. This is, the 21st century. And I'm going to do a show. There's a recent study on sociopaths behind the keyboard is what I'm going to call it. Okay? Because I see them. Remember, this is not my first rodeo. I've sat down with serial killers for a long time, and I know that personality, and I know how they operate, and I know what jealousy can do and all this other stuff, and that's their problem. It's not mine. Okay? But I'm going to do an interesting show on that. In fact, I'm putting it together at some point. Well, I have it together now, but the next one I've got coming up pretty soon after this particular case is I'm going to go over some of the statistics and really give you how this predators who abduct children think. And I'm going to break it down and so that we can all learn a little bit more about how to protect our children. Right?
So, beautiful people. Okay. This is a really eventful day because we are going to shift gears now. As you can see, baby Mackenzie, she needs her story told. Okay. I know that the moderators have been dropping the link for Chris. Please drop it again, beautiful people, so that anybody who wants to continue with Chris can. And if you want to rewind and see it here, or I think you can rewind his live right now, and you can watch it again there. But we're going to shift gears to another story, but it is a sad story. We have a petition that we'll be dropping the link. We have some family that's going to come on, and they are going to be lighting their candles. It is a virtual vigil. So if you've been wondering how can you support somebody, what can I do? If you haven't done your good deed, stick around and do just that. Hit the like for her, sign the petition for her, and there is a GoFundMe. I don't pressure anybody for money, but we are going to put it out there because the family can use the help. But if nothing else, clicking that petition is absolutely free. Click it, read it, and if you feel what I felt, sign it. So the family should start showing up soon. I believe they plan to show their faces for a little while. So I tied on a little bandana, but don't y'all expect much. But I'm going to turn, if they turn theirs on, out of respect for them, I'm going to give y'all a minute or two of this mug over here. So don't be appalled. I'm not doing the most, but oh, beautiful. So Amanda is going to be here. Amanda is the one who initially told me about the case. She sent me a Facebook message and said, there's a family, there's a baby, and can you put it out there? So of course we can. And Amanda's going to be here, so I'm really excited. She said that y'all are going to get to see a lovely view of Arkansas. So that'll be nice. There is going to be another family member here, and her name is Melissa. So you guys just show your love. She said, let me read. Melissa's having a hard time getting in. Let me find out what's going on. Thank you, Pink. Your hair is greasy. Are you silly? You're silly. I know, Mackenzie is adorable. So the video I have to show you is not so sweet. And I'm going to show it before the family comes on because, I know they've seen it before. Just keep in mind, viewer discretion is advised. It doesn't get too graphic, but please understand this video was taken while they were waiting on 911 to come and get this baby. The voice you hear in the background is her mother. And I'm just going to leave it there because we all can think for ourselves. But I have my opinions that I'll share later. But I do want to share this. It's heartbreaking. Just remember, they literally have called 911, and this is what's happening with the mom and the baby while they're waiting.
Mackenzie. 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 Mackenzie.
So I'm going to ask you again to please look for the links and sign the petition, because the person that did this is not behind bars yet. The family, Melissa, will be, when I get her in here, she can go into more detail, but please understand there's an open investigation to get this bastard that did this to this baby off the street. So she can't tell everything, but she can tell what she knows, like the fact that at 3 months, and in that video, they didn't know it yet, but she had 3 skull fractures, a broken leg, bruising to her kidney and her ribs. My hands are shaking just having to read that because I had to write all of that down because it was too damn much to remember. But somebody did it. Yeah, shining light. She appeared that she couldn't breathe. Y'all bear with me. I got to get the family in here, and some of them are having trouble for some reason getting in, and it's 6:02. They're supposed to get in at 6 o'clock, so I got to take care of that. Bear with me just a moment, please. Okay, so what's going to happen is there's another stream already set up. When I end this one, the other one's going to pop right up. So you guys grab and pop in, or it might even automatically put you in there. Okay, to be honest, this is my second time trying this stream out, but it's already set up and ready to go. We got family waiting in the back room. So let's roll. And Dale, thank you. I will certainly be checking that out. But we got to give an hour to Mackenzie. So for all that, stick around. This one's going to end. The other one's going to pop up immediately. And let's just show this baby some love. If you got a candle or a lighter, bring it and light it up. See you on the other side.